Jochen Hahn and Antonio Albacete. The two of them go flying through the right-hand side, then the left-hand side. Jochen Hahn around the outside, and Lucas Hahn, no father and son, come together on the exit of turn one.
And the best thing about this is the fact that it's still a 15-minute sprint race. It's not extended the time of the race. It's still just like, it's going to be, what, 7 laps as far as I can know?
Yeah. We get to the real nitty-gritty of motorsport. Cranstone and Smith are side by side for the title in the very final race of the season. As they go back up the hill towards the Schumacher-esque. Nils Core clips the back at 10. Simon Povey clips the side of Nils Core. They go over the hill and Povey's around. Oh my god, that's going to definitely be the thumbnail, isn't it? Hit me in the right direction. Thank you so much.
23 cars.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head to head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Finish. I think Dennis Melchett has done enough to win the last round of the championship and to win the title all in one fell swoop.
It's a pretty boring car championship. Things are never chilled here. Honestly, the cars may be a bit dull, but wow, the racing certainly isn't.
Fastest lap of the race now, Ben Lambert.
Look at Andy Fox coming through the middle. It makes a little bit of contact. Dave Waldock is around and he's off on the grass.
Brayfield tries to go right round the outside of Druids. You do not do that and get away with it very often.
Takes the win in round 12. There's contact again. Fraser Smith and Dennis Melchett are off the circuit.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Chaz Draycott Media, and welcome to rounds 5 and 6 of the CDM British Boring Car Championship. It is the amazing Brands Hatch Grand Prix circuit that is going to be the stage for tonight's racing, and it should be an absolute corker of an evening. A very tight and twisty circuit, difficult to get it right lap after lap, and it's the first it's the first time we're going to go into a week's break. The championship will have 3 rounds in a row, 1 week off, 3 more rounds, a week off, and then 3 more rounds. This is the first time that the drivers are going to sort of complete a third of the season, and we want to give a quick shout out to our championship sponsors, Abruzzi, Derbyshire Holiday Homes, and Orris Digital. And I want to give a shout out to Ed May as well, who joins me in the commentary box as ever. Ed, we've had a great start to the season so far, mate. Lots of wonderful racing. It was a little bit more lively and sort of out of control at Silverstone, but it was still good to watch, wasn't it?
It was brilliant to watch, yeah, and we had some excellent races, some almost surprising race results as well, didn't we, Chaz? That second race really was one to watch, but I'll tell you what, here at Brands Hatch, we're going to have to, I think, have our work cut out for us, Chaz, because it's never a dull moment here. We're going to be pretty much just flat out yapping from start to finish.
We absolutely will be. And here's a look at the championship standings. Jake Cranstone leads the way after a very successful start to the campaign, but would you just look behind him? John Bailiff and JB Masida tied on 39 points, and then there's only 10 points back all the way to 9th position. Even if you go down to 12th place, there's only 18 points in it. It's absolutely ridiculously close at the moment. And then you've got to consider the team's championship as well. The drop scores have been applied to the Drivers' Championship, but the drop scores don't come into the Team's Championship, you see. They take every single point they score this season, so even a driver's worst result will go towards the teams. So it does still encourage decent team results. Nodaphone are just 1 point ahead of Might Just Fit, and even a bit further down, Ericsson hit us, Dodgy MOT, Red Ring and Bordeaux. There's not much to separate them either. And in the Mediocre Cup for Independents, Taylor Adams is 1 point clear of JB Mesida. Eric Manintveld next up. Morgan Burkhardt has 20 points, but he missed out last time round. He also is 4th in the Drivers' Championship overall, but again, he wasn't at Silverstone to race with us, but he's back here tonight, and to be honest, he's going to be one of the drivers to watch, it has to be said. But we have just gotten to the end of practice in perfect timing, and to be honest, Ed, I think that Morgan and Patrick Dopart are going to be the two to watch here tonight. Dopart had a bit of a rough evening back at Silverstone, didn't he? Because it didn't all go his way. And he had that incident in race 2 that will really have knocked him down, knocked his confidence a little bit.
Yeah, it would have done. And just having a look as well, actually, another driver to keep an eye on is Jean-Baptiste Mesida, who, after taking his first race victory of the season, was, I think, second fastest in practice, which does bode well for that to maybe translate into some good qualifying and good race pace. Obviously, off of the back of his victory, it's even like he's finally getting to a lot more of a comfortable state in this Jetta. It does take a little bit of getting used to, doesn't it?
Absolutely does, yeah. It's a car that you really have to tune yourself into. We've not got any drivers in the field that have more than 2 podium finishes this season out of the 4 races that we've had so far. Jake Cranstone's had 2 race victories in races 1 and 3. Bailiff has been 3rd and 2nd. He's currently 2nd in the championship, with JB Mesida taking the win last time out. Great to see an independent take a win overall. We do have the Mediocre Cup for Independents, and as I mentioned, they have their own scoring system there. So instead of it being the scores that they have elsewhere, where it's 20, 15, 13, 12 and so on, it is 10, 8, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. There will only ever be a maximum of 8 independents in one race at a time. So the guys basically have a much narrower and shallow point scoring system, so that it doesn't separate them too much and we don't get a huge runaway winner there. And as we've seen, I mean, there's only 2 points in it at the moment, as Taylor Adams, the other Mark Blair coloured Vectra thingy, actually leads that class at the moment. Car number 65 going well. But look at this train of machines, Ed, as they head round towards the final corner. Just 15 minutes in qualifying. It's not actually going to be that long around here at Brands Hatch.
Yeah, you could just hear on board Taylor Adams, he was waiting before he would put the power down there, just sitting in behind and then putting the foot down, trying to work a little gap. Look at the train of Jettas up in front of him all the way down through turn 1. A real tricky corner to get the nose pitched in on these front wheel drive Jettas. They've got a tendency to understeer quite severely, so obviously you just trying to wind the lock on. If it doesn't turn the wheel a bit more and hope that that will work, which in these cars, fun enough, it often does. And, as they go through Graham Hill Bend. Ooh, that's a little bit of rallycross there. Do you think they sometimes have rallycross here at Brands Hatch, if memory serves right? Is that?
Yeah, they do.
Obviously,
yeah, they have a rallycross layout where they go, I think they go right at the bottom of Paddock Hill Bend, and then they go on a bit of a dirt road sort of thing between the two barriers where it intersects. But that was John Bailiff having a big old rallycross moment on a different part of the track. I was hoping to put a positive light on the Nodaphone team. They lead the team's championship at the moment. They may only lead by 1 point, but I've made a little adjustment to my spreadsheet, and it was the first time that a team has scored, it was the first time that they had scored the most points in a single race, which is what put them up at the top. They scored 28 points in the second race at Silverstone. Only Might Just Fit have done the same this season. They did that in the very first race of the campaign. Seems to be that 20 points is a pretty good score for a team. Nodaphone have done that 3 times already this season, so they're going to be hoping to extend that potential lead. But we need to obviously keep an eye on the championship leader overall in the Drivers' Championship at the moment, Jake Cranstone. Jake was second last season, hence why he's got the number 2 on the side of the car, and he's now just gone fastest here at the Brands Hatch Grand Prix circuit. Taylor Adams is second, Manintveld is third. The cars with the little blue strip next to their name on the left-hand side, by the way, are the Independents, so you can keep a track of how they're going. It's Adams that's fastest out of those at the moment. It's good to have Ferran Grau back with us tonight. The Spaniard was unavailable for Silverstone. There's a few drivers here that were unavailable for it. It's good to have him back in the pack. And Ferran, a long-time iRacer. His iRacing ID is one of the very first ones, actually. And he's, to be honest, probably been around for just as long as this Jetta.
Yes, he certainly has seen a lot, done a lot. We'll see if he can master this Jetta for the British Boring Car Championship. Obviously, like you say, wasn't here last time out, so looking to try and make up for lost time. The drivers do get a drop race, not a drop round, so only one of those 2 races where he wasn't in attendance will be struck from the record. Does mean, of course, that he's going to have to do some catching up. Same as well, let's try and find him on here. Morgan Burkhardt, the driver we're currently watching now, he as well missed out last time, didn't he, Chaz? And he was, I think, one to really watch at the opening round at Donington Park, taking the race victory in the first race of the season in stunning fashion. Shows that he is certainly one to keep an eye on.
Yeah, absolutely. Real world racer Morgan Burkhardt certainly knows what to do, and there you go, look at that, over quarter of a second clear at the top of the pile, and he's not just in the overall standings going well, but he's actually an independent as well. A few people have said it may be the first time we see an independent win the overall championship at the same time. Patrick Dopart has gone second fastest in his not quite Volvo in the Ericsson Hitters machine. Jake Cranstone is still third. Not much between the rest of them though. Ben Bennyworth currently 1.2 seconds off, but still doing his absolute best down there. John Bailiff is yet to set a time, so too is Donny Alpha Henriksen in the dodgy MOT entry. You can see the Abruzzi logos on the front corners of the car. You can see the Orris Digital logo on the sort of rear pillar. I don't think it's called the A pillar, is it? The A pillar is the front one. It's probably, if you're going by logic, it's A pillar, B pillar and C pillar, but still. And then you've got the Derbyshire Holiday Homes logo just on the rear corner on the bumper as well on the sides. But Donny Alpha Henriksen, no lap time for him so far. We've got 16 cars in the session, although Aaron Smith did put some times in earlier. I'm not sure he's qualifying, so he was joking about the fact that these guys, as we've said, a lot of them have raced together a lot before. In the past, they had a colossal incident here in one of the previous Jetta Cups that they raced in, and Aaron has joked that running 10 seconds behind the rest of the pack might benefit him tonight as a result.
Could do, might keep him out of trouble, see if he can make some positions through the race, and could find himself with that reverse grid pole position, because that's something for the drivers to be aware of as well, isn't it, Chaz? That reverse grid, I think, is it the top 10 get inverted?
Yep.
So that could be something for him to aim for potentially.
JB Messina and Duncan Murray, sorry, just made a little bit of contact there into turn one, so that's going to invalidate this entire lap for these guys now, and that's far from ideal to say the least.
Yeah, obviously as well though, not qualifying isn't going to be the be-all and end-all for Aaron Smith, because we know that these Jettas, they sort of run nice and close together. It's a long train. I wouldn't be surprised if he was part of that train. He could easily pick off a position and just lap after lap climb his way up to even challenge for a podium later on. It's just the way these Jettas like to race. It's long straight as well, into an area of the circuit where we're going to see a majority of the action. Oh, that's tricky, isn't it, when you're just going onto the apex and you got slow cars on the inside. Stephen Burns trusted that. I think that was that Ben Bennyworth?
It was, yeah.
The Team Netcode Jetta, just trying to get out of the way. Did a pretty good job, to be fair to him. Didn't hamper Stephen whatsoever. A lot of trust between the pair of them.
He's got a lot of trust in the front tyres and all, by the look of it. Flipping out. Stephen really throwing this Jetta about, but that's one of the best things of it. It's got so much mechanical grip. It's so flat and poised. It's just a joy to watch it make its way around circuits, because it just seems to have so much more grip than you ever expect it to.
Yeah, and if it doesn't have enough grip, wind the lock on a bit more and try again and see if that's going to help. That's usually what the drivers tend to do. And in towards turn one, you can just see every single time they turn in, I think they're going to go wide like that. It's big side on impact into the barriers at Paddock Hill Bend. Will put an end to maybe future qualifying attempts. The drivers have 5 minutes and 45 seconds now remaining, and that's all the time that they will get. They won't be able to finish the laps that they will be on when the checkered flag has fallen. As soon as that clock ticks to 0, that is essentially the session ended then and there, because of the way iRacing does its qualifying. it's in a heat racing format, the session ends abruptly. When the checkered flag falls, no further times can be set. But if it's more of a single race format, as soon as the checkered flag falls, the drivers are able to finish any laps that they are currently on.
Absolutely right. We have a couple of drivers still missing tonight, unfortunately. James Holman not here. Togo Hisada, he knew he wasn't going to be able to make the first couple of rounds of the championship. And just having a quick look as well to see, yeah, no Naveed Hussein either. He had a VR headset failure at the start of the season, so he's unfortunately not been able to make it. We don't have Stuart Clark here this time either. He should be available for the rest of the season, though, he has said. And Andy Fox, we send our best to Andy Fox. His girlfriend got rushed into hospital yesterday, so he said that he's not going to be around for tonight. And I hope that everything is all right, of course. At the end of the day, while it's a shame to miss a round of the championship, we know that real life comes first, especially in such challenging circumstances. So we send you our best, Andy. If you watch this back, we hope that everything is all good. So we've got 16 cars, like I say, in the session. Aaron Smith for Team Bordeaux hasn't been out on track yet tonight, so no points currently to be scored by either of those drivers, which is Andy and Aaron. Looking like a bit of a challenging evening for some of the squads in particular. Sam van Alsten, John Bailiff, actually, they're doing well in the championship, leading the team's championship, but at the minute the pair of them are down in 9th and 10th, not having a great run of it, are they?
No, not right now, but we know that qualifying isn't going to be sort of too important around here. Brands Hatch is a circuit where overtakes can and often do occur. Cranston, he's off to a great start in his qualifying session, isn't he? Just a couple tenths off of pole position. He's just trundling around for now.
I was going to say, yeah.
Waiting for some cars to catch up to him and maybe help him out.
He's making sure the Chinese goes cold on the back seat first before he starts a lap. That's what he's doing.
Listen carefully, pulling over to the left-hand side. And I think he's got the eyes on some cars on the relative, hoping that they're going to come past him and help him out for a lap. Waiting, I think Eric Manenfeld is the driver that's going to see maybe come past soon. Same with Taylor Adams. I mean, they've all got the same idea, really. There goes Taylor Adams.
Yeah. Maybe it's to offset the emissions, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
You can put it on a different reading. He can submit the form, but I don't know. He's got up to speed now. I don't know whether he's using this as a bit of a reference or something now to chase down Eric Manenfeld, because he's not in slipstreaming range there. Surely,
that's just about. I think up ahead it'll be that's about 1.5 seconds. You can get slipstream in iRacing. It usually gives you a noticeable effect from
they found you.
1.5 seconds back.
The old Bill have found you, have they?
Oh, yeah, sorry about that. That's the beauty of living on a busy main road.
Oh, I was going to say they're either that or they're after me for the emissions scandal.
Yeah, they're after all these Jettas. Yeah. Fudging the numbers a touch.
Yeah, well, you've got to do that as a championship organizer these days. You know, if you run it all squeaky clean, you're not a proper championship organizer, are you? Still,
definitely not. Especially if we were trying to, emulate the boring cars from years gone by.
Yeah, we'll keep digging. But still, it's great to see these cars back out on this circuit. It feels like forever since they've been at Brands Hatch Grand Prix. I remember in Season 3, it flew by that night. It was a bit of a dramatic evening, actually. There was a falling out or two, let's just call it that. And a little bit of drama unfolded as a result. But this is Brands Hatch. We're going to see some, I'd nearly said it, gutsy moves tonight around here. And I reckon it's going to come from people like Jake, to be honest. Jake is not scared to make a move. I think Eric Manenfeld is also going to be one of them. Morgan Burkhardt, he's going to be hoping for a win from pole position in race 1. John Bailiff is off and into the barriers big time. Let's have a look at this. Oh, he's run wide there and he's invalidated the lap. I think he's just going to throw it into the wall in a bit of a, not a strop, but the guys tend to do this in a bit of an entertaining way. He's going to hard left it. Yeah, look. I think he's just let go, if anything, and then it really does bounce off the wall and break the suspension. And in the background,
the pink race overalls as well that he had on.
Yeah.
Nice, what was that? Is that salmon pink? That was.
Yeah, I think
quite the hot pink that we tend to see drivers put on their wheels to irritate you.
No, that's very true. But one of the things that we've changed for this season is that we did used to do race suits and enforce them and put them in the paint pack, but we allow drivers to have their own overalls and helmets and everything as well. We don't quite go to that extent here, but it's just the liveries that are forced upon them and created by yours truly. It's going to be the last season that we see them, though, and it seems a bit of a shame every time, but it's one of those things where you don't want to overdo it with a certain idea, and I think that the British Boring Car Championship has been massive entertainment for 3 seasons now, and this final one is going to be a great way to go out. You know, we've got a wonderful grid of people, and it may not be a huge 40-car grid like people seem to think is mandatory in sim racing.
Yeah.
You know, it's a smaller grid, it's easier to manage, but everyone can have a good time with it. And everyone that's at the front of the grid is having a specifically good time at the moment. Morgan Burkhardt will start on pole position. He's going to be alongside Jake Cranstone. Patrick Dopart and Taylor Adams are on the next row of the grid. Then we have Eric Manintveld, and he is alongside Stephen Burns on row 3. He's going to be pretty pleased with that, to be fair, is Stephen. I think, to be honest, he's... I mean, well, the team have got a lot to live up to here with winning the team's championship last season. He's got Donny Alfa Henriksen next up. Alongside him is the independent JB Masida, winner of race 4 last time out. We have Sam Van Alsten, John Bailiff, the 2 teammates at Nodaphone, making up the 5th row of the grid. And then Kyle Ridley and Jack Wells. Jack has been a little bit out of touch here, hasn't he, so far this season? I think, to be honest, he expected a little bit more, to say the least, and it hasn't quite gone right for him, to say the least, at the moment. But Team Red Ring, also a team to be reckoned with in previous seasons. But the drivers now are getting on to the grid and all ready to go. What do you reckon, though, Ed? Morgan Burkhardt from pole position, definitely one to try and beat here, isn't he? He's certainly going to be the one with the target on his back.
Yeah, he's going to be, I think, the one that they'll all be aiming for, especially after his performances last time out, or last time that he was out on circuit again. Just the domination that we saw at Donington from him was something that we haven't really seen from anybody else in this championship so far. We'll see if he can emulate that here at Brands Hatch, though, as the lights begin to come on the gantry. We're about to go racing.
We are indeed then. Round number 5 in Season 4 of the British Boring Car Championship gets underway. Jake Cranstone slots in behind Morgan off the front row. Patrick Dopart will be looking for a good start, but he's not had one. Taylor Adams round the outside. Eric Manintveld in there as well in the independents. The rest of them bumble their way through turn 1. JB Masida on the outside of Donny Alfa Henriksen. Now watch them up into Druids. Any argy-bargy into here is definitely not wanted. Kyle Ridley sitting behind the 2 Nodaphone cars as they head back down the hill. It's easy for it to be a choke point here at Graham Hill Bend. Looks like everyone doing a good job. Little bit of a kiss there between Masida and Alfa Henriksen. Bailiff sticks to the inside. Kyle Ridley boxes him in. It means that he can't now go to the inside at Surtees, though. Could he lose out 20 cars behind? Jack Wells is in the picture as well. Fantastically clean start from everyone there, Ed. That was lovely.
Beautiful stuff there, nice and clean. And look at this, already nose to tail. Burkhardt and Cranstone going at it. Cranstone for the inside line. Can he take the lead of this race on the first lap? They still go side by side, but it's a succession of right-handers for Cranstone. Surely he's going to get the move made. Now, they make their way all the way through Dingle Dell. Once more, still side by side. Burkhardt carrying the momentum all the way around the outside. Is he going to be able to hold it as they make their way towards Sterling's? No, Cranstone's just got his nose in front, but then finally the left-hander comes, but it's not enough, and all the way around the outside, Cranstone's going for it. This is brilliant.
Incredible stuff. The 2 leaders absolutely side by side. Wing mirror to wing mirror, door handle to door handle, ego to ego. I say that, these guys have not got egos. They're both wonderful people, very modest, very humble. Side by side behind them now is Taylor Adams as well. We finished the first lap of the race here, 3 by 2 across the line in the British Boring Car Championship. This is just what we come to expect. Burkhardt around the outside of Season 3 runner-up Jake Cranstone, who gets a hell of a bounce on at Paddock Hill Bend. That is nightmare fuel no matter what car you're in. As there, Taylor Adams tries to squeeze his way in. It doesn't work for him. Sam Van Alst in the thick of it as well. Side by side with Donny Alfa Henriksen. Little bit of a kiss to the dodgy MOT car on the exit. He's back down the inside. It sounds like someone's gone sideways. Patrick Dopart. It's always Patrick Dopart. losing position after position. Stephen Burns and Eric Manintveld go through. 2 by 2 behind him. Van Hulst now down the inside into Surtees. God, it's never ending. They continue on as, whoa, very sideways in the background there. Ben Benioff having a big moment. Aaron Smith gets past him. But look at this, all the way up to the front. The whole field is barely separated by anything. About 4.5 seconds. Well, 5 now, due to Benioff's little mistake.
There we go. Sam Van Hulst trying to hold on to that 6th place. He managed to get ahead of Dopart, who again is, like I mentioned, it is always him just seemingly having those issues, those little moments. Just nothing's going right from Mirai, and getting a little bit argy-bargy with Farron Grout.
Farron backs out of that one. He says, "Stuff that. He's a maniac."
Wow. Very smart there, keeping himself in one piece, knowing that there's still a long way to go in this race. If things could materialise up in front of him, he could find himself gaining some more places and potentially get that reverse grid top 10 position. As, oh my word, this is argy-bargy up in front as well. John Baylor fancies a piece of this. He's seeing Alfa Henriksen and Mercedes going door to door, wheel to wheel, wing mirror to wing mirrors. Up in front, Burkhardt and Cranstone are going side by side in towards Paddock Hill Bend.
Cranstone doesn't make it work that time round though, does he?
Burkhardt gets that done. JB Mercedes forced out wide onto the gravel, and he's going to lose a handful of places now just because of how close the pack is. So dropping out the top 10 actually. Look at this, they're 3 wide all of a sudden. How they feel just about fitting 3 Jettas there through Druids.
How did they do that there? Duncan Marais somehow squeezed to the inside, still made it out on the exit. I must say, Donny Alfa Henriksen not really making many friends so far this season. He was involved in a bit of contact back at Silverstone, and he's been in a little bit more this time round as well, unfortunately, with JB Mercedes. We'll have to have a quick look at how he did that, but he certainly didn't make a friend in JB in doing this. There's a little bit of moving around on the straight here. We'll actually go on board with John Bailiff, go on his roof, and we'll see. Mercedes goes in. To be fair, actually, he didn't make any contact. I thought he tapped him on the way in. Sorry, Donny. Flipping heck, I thought he tapped him off and that's why he was off in the gravel, but no. They just both, tried to carry so much speed through there that they just floated wide. But look now, we've got the top 7 all together in a group, all trying to break away, and these are all guys except for Taylor Adams that have raced in other Jetta Cups before. Taylor has very quickly acclimatised himself to these guys and once again proven to us, much like Jake Cranstone continually does, Ed, that he can be quick in anything.
Yes, obviously Taylor Adams is the reigning Sim Racing Magazine GT4 Challenge champion. Just came to its conclusion about a month ago now, and he's switched GT4 to a Jetta. So Mercedes for the Volkswagen. Well, having to defend pretty fiercely, isn't he, from Eric Manintveld in behind. Needs to be careful to not lose sight of the battling pair up ahead. Cranstone and Burkhardt through Graham Hill. Such a wonderful corner, the way the car just dives down into it, carrying all the momentum through. I've got to say that my favourite round here is Sterling. Just the camber of the corner, the amount you can chuck the car through before you come towards Clearways and Clark Curve. It's just so fun. It's always satisfying every single time.
And the thing is as well, the corners either side of that give you the complete opposite feel because they're both like over a crest, off camber corners. You know, the final corner here at Brands Hatch is really difficult in most cars, but when you're going up through Sheen Curve as well, it is mighty difficult. It's a blind apex. You have to really commit not to run too wide and dip a wheel onto the grass on the exit, but also not to cut it too much on the right. We're going up to it now, actually, as we come out of Westfield. Here it is, Sheen
Blind
Curve.
as well, isn't it?
Oh, it's horrible. Even in these Jettas as well, they bounce around a hell of a lot, but it's great fun to watch. So is this. Morgan Burkhardt leading the way with Jake Cranstone right up behind him. Jake doesn't need to force the issue here. He'll lose 5 points when it comes to the championship, but he is now right up behind Morgan and not needing to push for the win. We know Jake will, because who doesn't want a race win? As in the background, Dopart has just got past Van Hulst by the look of it. Sam Van Hulst running a little bit wide out of the final corner. Cranstone once again goes for it into turn 1. Just tries to upset Burkhardt that little bit. They hop, skip and jump their way down. Van Hulst now down into 7th position. This battle still going on behind as Donny Alfa Henriksen goes through the gravel. Kyle Ridley and JB Mercedes go to the right-hand side in avoidance onto that inside line. I think JB just clipped the back of Kyle there, pushed him into Alfa Henriksen. And that's what shoved him slightly wide there. Let's just have a little look here from JB's car, shall we?
Ridley just up ahead. A little bit slow on the exit. Obviously, there's the avoidance that's been made.
Oh no, you know what?
Contact very slight. It's actually from Kyle Ridley and Alpha Henriksen more than anything else. And I think Donny is just trying to turn in and actually makes contact with that rear quarter.
Yeah, it looked like initially the contact was JB pushing Ridley wide, but no, it was the mid-corner contact that came about. Great racing though so far between all of these wonderful drivers. We have the 20-minute sprint race and then the 25-minute feature race, and it's all good fun here in the British Boring Car Championship. Thanks once again to our championship sponsors, Abruzzi, Derbyshire Holiday Homes and Orris Digital. It's great to have their support for another campaign in this championship. Always fantastic to have them on board as partners. Looks like the top two are breaking away a little bit here, Ed. I think if Taylor Adams and Eric Manitveld fight enough for this second and third in the independents category, considering that back in the 1990s the independents were the ones that were at the back of the field and sort of running their own cars. It's funny that we've got three of them in the top four here actually in the British Boring Car Championship, but right now if they fight too hard they'll lose Burkhardt and Cranstone.
Yeah, and they can't really afford to do that. They've got to be smart with how they fight here, and like what Jake's been doing, picking his battles with Morgan and deciding now's not the time to fight. They are building a gap to the cars behind. He'd rather have his full focus on that car ahead of him rather than having to worry about things in behind him while he's trying to go for the lead of the race. We saw it actually on the opening lap. He pulled back from a potential continuation of his attack of Morgan Burkhardt because of the pressure in behind. He realised it was better to defend and hold on to second place than risk going for first and lose out on what could be multiple positions. So Jake's a very smart racer. He knows exactly what to do, and at the moment he's doing it well.
He really is. Sitting right behind Morgan. He's got 2 race victories this season, has Jake. Morgan's got a second and a first from 1 race meeting. He led the championship leaving Donington Park, but right now finds himself 4th. He's 16 points behind Jake. And bearing in mind you get 20 for a race victory, you know that's quite a margin already. But Jake, impressive as ever. His worst result this season was actually the last race at Silverstone, where he finished in 7th place. He's now looking down the inside again, but just going from one side to the other. They're all doing personal bests here. And the sun is setting here at Donington Park. Jesus, Brands Hatch. It's 5:45 in the sim, but we've still got not a humongous amount of time left in terms of progression. The race is calculated as only starting about 15 minutes. Sorry, the second race is calculated as only starting about 15 minutes after the end of the first race, so it's not going to go completely dark here, but we're going to get some lovely sort of sunset lighting as we've got the battle here between Patrick Dopart, Sam Van Alsten, Stephen Burns, as Kyle Ridley looks down the inside of John Bailiff. Interesting to see the Nodaphone and Team Jane Fonda cars all having fights with one another in the middle of the pack. The two teams that were right up at the top of the Teams Championship in previous seasons sort of not floundering in the midfield because it's a very strong field, but they're not making waves, they're not setting the timing screens alight, are they, as Ridley and Mercedes make friends up through Hawthorne?
Yeah, I mean, none of these drivers are here to make friends, are they? It's, again, JB Mercedes. Look at the speed he carries all the way around the outside now. Gets the move secure. Unfortunately, there's a bit of grass and everything kicked up ahead. It seems like that was just more than anything else, a little bit of just dust off of the tyres more than anything else. But yeah, JB Mercedes really been in the thick of the action today, and he's managed to get through relatively cleanly. As a result, Kyle Ridley in behind him will probably be looking to maintain that 10th place because of what it means for the remainder of the evening for him if he's able to hold on to it. It's a pole position for the second race going his way as it stands. Looking at the way the Teams Championship is going as well, Sam Van Alsten, John Bailiff once more all together, the two Nodaphone cars, as this is out in front. This is the battle for the lead. Morgan Burkhardt and Jake Cranstone still going at it. Cranstone's got more of a gap in behind, so he's feeling a bit more confident to push and to try a little bit more of a unorthodox move somewhere.
Yeah, he's really throwing the kitchen sink at Morgan at the moment, isn't he? Certainly looks like he's not wanting to hold back and sit behind him now, as we have 7.5 minutes left of this race to go. The three that have really lost out in this race so far are Patrick Dopart, Donny Alfa Henriksen and Duncan Murray. They've lost 3, 4 and 3 positions respectively. So if Donny can get 10th place back and go for reverse grid pole, that'll certainly improve his evening after qualifying in 7th place. Cranstone and Burkhardt, though, this is wonderful racing between the two of them, side by side all the way round, and they are constantly just inches away from one another while doing this. This is great stuff, and this is exactly why it's a joy to have people like this in your iRacing leagues and in your championships. But this fighting means that Taylor Adams, Eric Maninfeld, Stephen Birds, Patrick Dopart and Sam van Olst can all close in once again and reignite this group fight, so to speak. And then only a few seconds behind that, if we look in the background, we will see John Bailiff leading another group of cars now. JB Masida and Kyle Ridley. Donny Alfa Henriksen, Jack Wells. I think there's a little bit of a tap there actually from Masida on to Bailiff. Ferran Grau on the back of this as well, another independent wanting to gain places. Kyle's going all the way to the outside line, bit of contact with JB. I don't think JB knew he was there. They only have 15 incidents before they get a drive-through penalty. They have to be really careful, because if they push the contact too hard and overdo it, then they will be right through into the pit lane. Sorry, it's not 15, it's 12. Sorry, it's 12 and then 17. So, much like the iRacing official races, in most cases anyway, you get 17 incident points, you are out of here. You get 12, which is just 3 4x contacts. You have a drive-through penalty. So, I know some of these guys had said, to be honest, Ed, and very openly, that you can hit each other a bit harder now without getting a 4x, because it used to be the tiniest touches in the past. You still have to watch out for it, don't you?
Yeah, you can't take the mick. iRacing will still punish you if you are going to be clattering into each other, but I think it allows a little bit of door banging, a little bit of panel rubbing, gives a bit more leeway in that sort of respect. But like I mentioned, we've got to be careful. They don't have a lot of incident points to play with. Great though, isn't it? These two playing with each other side by side.
Oh,
careful.
Henriksen off the road, Kyle Ridley off the road, JB Masida and John Bailiff still side by side. A big contact there on the exit. Wheel to wheel stuff. John, don't forget, is second in the championship. He doesn't need this. John wants to be chasing down Jake Cranstone for championship points. He doesn't want to be hounded by the independent of JB Masida. Kyle Ridley now has the run. He's going to give John a push, I think. Whoa, down the straight. Unsettles him rather than propelling him forward. And now JB clear of him around the outside? No, not quite. John holds on for another lap. Does JB get contact with Kyle? No, but look behind them. Donny Alfa Henriksen and Ferran Grau now side by side. Masida to the inside. Ridley there as well. Jack Wells round the outside. Wells is the one that's pitched into a spin. Tries to recover without hitting Ben Benioff, and still they're side by side, Bailiff and Masida. They've been side by side for about a lap and a half now. This is incredible. JB tries to cut back. John says no. Tempers flaring. Kyle Ridley through on the right hand side. Ferran Grau wants in on this as well. God, they're absolutely lobbing these cars at each other. It's like the M6 on a Sunday night.
That's good. Grau could take them all. Look at the run he's got.
Yeah, incredible racing.
Going to slightly slow up now is Ferran Grau just because of the slipstreaming on the right hand side for JB Masida and John Bailiff. But look at them all now. Again, the pack battling continues on. Ooh, a little bit of contact there as they go through Hawthorne. And Ferran Grau's advance is, well, scuppered somewhat.
It's ground to a halt.
Oh, that's a horrific one, John.
That's offensive, that is.
Ooh, yeah, you're going to be getting emails after that, I think, as Donny Alfa Henriksen. He's certainly been, well, maybe not offending some of his fellow drivers, but certainly not being friendly with them.
He's offending that rear bumper, isn't he?
Yeah, needs to get a restraining order, I think, against him for all of these rear end of Jettas that he's been sniffing and getting friendly with, shall we say. As Morgan Burkhardt continues to lead from Jake Cranstone. There's a race for the lead still, but this is the battle for 8. They are still there.
This is just amazing between Mesida and Bailiff. They probably hate each other at this point. They're going to kick off after in the chat. But you know what? If I was having a race like this, I'd be absolutely loving it. Ridley now right up behind Bailiff, who's going deep. They're all going deep as down the inside. Grau tries to tuck in. Ridley is sideways. Big bit of contact. I think Donny Alfa Henriksen was in the back of that. He was sort of shoving Grau into Ridley. Ben Bennyworth still in there as well. Oh, Donny's all over the back of the independent. Still pushing mid-corner. JB Mesida, by the way, is still side by side with John Bailiff. That's the only thing that hasn't changed here, is that these two are still door-to-door. More contact in the background. Donny Alfa Henriksen off the road. He's definitely not making any friends this season, is Donny. He's certainly been lively. I think that's the polite way to say it. Earlier up the road, though, Stephen Burns, he's going to be quite happy to have a race this chilled, isn't he?
And Bailiff still going at it. I think Mesida now is going to have the inside line, but on the last 2 laps, it's the same incident in Druids where Bailiff just keeps going too deep into the corner, and that opens the door for JB Mesida to try and make it side by side too wide. Yes, again, they're going to go at each other's throats, at each other's bumpers, gearboxes, you name it. They will be just throwing it at each other.
No.
And Carl Ridley, he's going to try and take them both on 3 wide through the final corner. This is not going to end well.
It's not, no. I think Mesida was just... Well, Bailiff ran a little bit wide, and Bailiff cuts the nose off him, and Ridley around the outside, proper speedway style, tries to use the momentum, use the wider line as we go into the final lap here at Brands Hatch. This is only the first race of the night. We've got a 25-minute belter coming up after this as well. Look at Ben Bennyworth moving around in all of this. Jack Wells wants a piece of it as well. And this is only for 8th position, but the car that finishes 9th, which is currently... Sorry, car that finishes 10th, which is currently JB Mesida, is going to get reverse grid pole position in all of this. Ben Bennyworth as well. It was suddenly on the grass there. He had to get out of it. Bailiff is all over the front of JB. And Kyle Ridley goes through. I think Bailiff is fed up of JB bumping into the back of him. There's been a few drivers that seem to have no remorse with pushing the car in front. Kyle Ridley is 8th, John Bailiff 9th, JB Mesida 10th. So if this carries on, these two are going to be on the front row for the second race of the night. What a move that is by JB round the outside. There's more and more contact on the exit. Goodness me, boys. We need to look back at this, though. The front of the field, it's Jake Cranstone and Morgan Burkhardt, then Taylor Adams, Stephen Burns and Sam Van Ulster right together. Patrick Dopart involved in that as well. Further back, tyres squealing. Kyle Ridley, you can hear him from here. Side by side with John Bailiff, wing mirrors rubbing. There's going to be no vinyl left on these cars by the end. They're all collectively running wide. JB Mesida wants to make this 3 wide. That's not a good idea. Kyle Ridley's still in the mix. More and more contact, and they're all going to have a bit of a drama. Jack Wells is going to benefit from it. Who's going to come back on? John Bailiff is. Out of the final corner, Morgan Burkhardt is going to take the win. He beats Jake Cranstone to the line. Taylor Adams completes the podium, but we need to go back to this because this is just going to erupt even more. Kyle Ridley's probably home and dry now. JB Mesida is next up. Donny Alfa Henriksen and Jack Wells are going to fight over the top 10 spot. And that's going to be reverse grid pole. Wells gives him a bit of an elbow out of the final corner. Wells finishes 10th, but what a battle, boys. That was insane racing. And the fact that, well, I don't think any of them got drive-through penalties, but maybe 1 or 2 at the end as Donny destroys his Jetta in the wall. Sam Van Ulster's done the same. Goodness me. I think the fact that Morgan Burkhardt won that race is possibly one of the dullest facts about it. But congratulations, Morgan, on his 2nd win of the season.
Yeah, that was something else. I have
God.
no idea how throughout all of that it was who was it actually? Nodaphone car that ended up dropping all the way out from, it was John Bailiff, wasn't it? Was 8th, suddenly found himself 13th after that final lap.
Bonkers, absolutely bonkers. He'll be happy that they still score points down to 15th place, but that's a race that'll definitely be looked at. Morgan Burkhardt wins, less than a 10th of a second, though, ahead of Jake Cranstone. Morgan also takes the victory, of course, in the Independence Championship as well. Taylor Adams was for third. I can't get my words out. Eric Manenveld 4th. So 3 independents in the top 4. Stephen Burns was 5th ahead of Sam Van Ulst. Then Patrick Dopart and Kyle Ridley. JB Mesida somehow survived that to finish in 9th ahead of Jack Wells in 10th. Donny Alfa Henriksen was 11th. Ben Bennyworth was 12th and John Bailiff was 13th. You know what that means? That means that only one of them had any sort of penalty, and that was Ferran Grau. Ferran Grau ended up 16th in the end of that, the only one out of the points. and he must have had enough incident points to have a drive-through, because that would have added about 40 seconds on. So with Aaron Smith 14th, Duncan Murray 15th, Ferran Grau is 16th. That was just balmy. Truly, truly balmy. We've only got one car in the pit lane at the moment, Ed, but I'm almost scared for the second race of the night. Are we going to be able to breathe?
I don't think so. So we need to catch our breath, I think, in the next 5 minutes before we get underway with the second and final race, the feature coming up. Because if that first is anything to go by, well, we're going to need to be bright-eyed and bushy-tailed for it, I think.
Absolutely. So Ed and I will be back with you in just a few moments' time, everybody. We'll give you some shots from the warm-up session which is going on. We'll put the countdown up in the top left for you, and we'll be back in a few moments' time. Hello again, everybody. Chaz Draycott and Ed May here for rounds 5 and 6 of the CDM British Boring Car Championship. We're here at Brands Hatch for the third race meeting of the season. We've got a week off coming up after this one, and some of the drivers treating it like it's the last day of school there, Ed, but we've seen some pretty interesting stuff in the Discord between races. No animosity, though, by the look of it. Everyone's just having a good time.
Yeah, that's brilliant. It's what we love to see. Is we commentate over this, we always think, oh, I wonder if the drivers are going to be taking it badly, if they're going to be having words with each other, but it all seems to be all taken in good fun, which is what we love to see. And it was, well, one heck of a race that we were treated to just, 10 minutes ago. And now in 2 minutes we get to do it all over again, don't we, Chaz? It's going to be very exciting with that reverse grid. Very firmly at the forefront of the drivers' minds. I believe it was Jack Wells, was in it not, who managed to get that 10th place and secure the reverse grid pole position. So we'll have to see what he can do from the front of the field. And also what Morgan Burkhardt could do, having to try and carve his way through the field, starting all the way down in 10th after what was a very commanding race victory. Just had to keep Cranstone at bay, which he did brilliantly, and then we'll have to focus on now to make some moves rather than defend them.
Yeah, that's the thing, you've got to flip the switch a little bit when it comes to how you attack one race compared to the other in these sorts of championships. You have to be pretty careful not to overdo it, and I think some of these guys are going to be in a level-headed mindset going into race 2, but it's more a case of how long will that last. We'll have to wait and see. But yeah, great entertainment though by these guys so far. Really, really enjoyed that one. Everybody finished the race, which is one of the main things as well. Obviously, we don't like it if there's any non-finishers. And we saw in the Discord, I mentioned that there'd been a post in the Discord, but JB Masida posted in there and mentioned that he's actually had 20 individual car contacts in that race, and not one of them gave him an incident point. It was pretty amazing.
Very impressive viewing, and just goes to show that obviously the cars can race door to door close and have that contact, but nothing bad comes from it, which is brilliant to see. Hopefully means that we'll have more of the same here for the remainder of the evening. So we're just watching Patrick Dopart get the last few corners in of this warm-up session before we get the second and final race underway.
That was a fantastic noise. I couldn't help but focus on whatever the hell John just did there. That was a fantastic noise to finish the warm-up session. And now the sim will just flick over. Give it a moment. And we can show you on the right that it is now 6:30 in the sim, and this is the grid for race number 2. Jack Wells and JB Masida make up the front row, with Kyle Ridley and Patrick Dopart on row number 2. Then it's Sam Van Alsten, Stephen Burns, Eric Manintveld and Taylor Adams, with Jake Cranstone and race 1 winner Morgan Burkhardt starting from 10th. Behind is Donny Alpha Henriksen and Ben Bennyworth, John Bailiff and Aaron Smith, with Duncan Murray and Ferran Grau completing our field of 16 cars here tonight. It's the size of grid that you used to get in the British Touring Car Championship, actually, in the late 90s. They didn't have huge grids, but it was more a case of quality, not quantity. And with just Van Alst and Murray ready to make their way to the grid, a lot of the revs are rising and the drivers are preparing. This is either going to be a little bit more chilled than the first race or not. Duncan Murray pops into the background, and round number 6 in season 4 of the British Boring Car Championship here from the legendary Brands Hatch Grand Prix circuit is underway, and there's tyre smoke everywhere from the front few rows. Looks like a good start by Eric Manintveld in the middle of the pack. He tries to glide his way through, but it doesn't quite work. Van Alsten Burns are side by side for 5th position as the other guys all go single file through Paddock Hill Bend. It looks like a change for the lead though as JB Masida goes down the inside of Jack Wells. He won the second race at Silverstone from the front of the grid. Let's see if he can do that again here tonight. Seems like there was a bit of drama at the back of the field. Duncan Murray getting ahead of Aaron Smith and Ferran Grau. Aaron not setting the world alight like we've seen him do in other series before. Kyle Ridley round the outside now of Jack Wells as well. He said that he's not going to try and fight people too hard tonight, much like he didn't at Silverstone. Dopart and Van Olst side by side now as they head down towards Pilgrim's Drop.
It's really intense. You can see on board from Patrick Dopart, he's got a great view of all of this. He's going to try and get a position for himself as well as he's going side by side with Sam Van Olst, diving up the inside, trying to use the slipstream from Kyle Ridley, and Jack Wells, to his benefit, not quite getting there.
Oh,
further back.
Eric Manenveld, that was. Yeah, sorry. Eric went to the right-hand side trying to get down the inside of Dopart, and as he flicked the car back over to the left, he hit Stephen Burns, who's just been elbowed out of the way again by Taylor Adams there, who makes his way through. Morgan Burkhardt and Jake Cranstone haven't really made any progress. If anything, Jake's actually lost 2 places from where he started. Donny Alpha Henriksen and Stephen Burns coming to blows there. I think they just got hooked together. Stephen's had a nightmare of a first lap here. Flipping heck. He's going to be saying, where on the doll did they touch you? What a first lap that was. But JB Masida, well, he's starting to break away again. It's like Silverstone.
Here we go. Will it be round 2?
Oh,
For Masida, everyone's making scary noises and noises of fear and panic and terror as diving up the inside into Paddock Hill Bend and up the rise through towards Druids they go. Patrick Dopart trying to hang around the outside. It's not going to work out for him. He has to settle in behind Taylor Adams, who himself has had a great start actually as Taylor, up a couple of places, and just needs to now knuckle down and try and work on Eric Manenveld and Kyle Ridley just up ahead of him, because we know that Taylor can do it. He's shown great pace so far this season, actually great pace here tonight as well. It's just if he can translate that now into this second race. We've still got plenty of time to go, 22 minutes remain. Go with Morgan Burkhardt, race 1 race winner. He's currently up in 8th place. Like you mentioned, Jake Cranstone, he's actually down from where he was earlier, not having the best of starts.
definitely not. These things wobble their way through. Kyle Ridley, one of the Team Jane Fonda cars, the reigning team champions of the British Boring Car Championship. These guys took the title last season from the likes of Might Just Fit and Nodaphone. Nodaphone doing well so far this season, but after that first race of the night, I can tell you that Might Just Fit have taken the team's championship lead again. 96 points to the 94 of Nodaphone. Team Jane Fonda not too far behind either, only another 6 points back. So it's very close in the team's championship again. Sam Van Olst wanting to get past Jack Wells here. So far this season, Sam has had one podium. He was third at Silverstone in race 2. He wants to make sure that these race 2s become his forte. He moves to the inside in the Nodaphone car, and the Team Red Ring machine gives plenty of room on the inside. Van Olst slides on through. Look at the consistent run in the background as, for the second time tonight, Ferran Grau and Duncan Murray have come to blows. Duncan wasn't too pleased with Ferran after the first race earlier on. I think there was a move down the inside into turn 1 similar to that one that didn't quite work. A little bit of contact on the way up the hill, and Ferran's just gone way too deep, and he ends up across the front of the Might Just Fit car. They may have just taken the lead in the team's championship. It's not going to last with stuff like that.
No, it is certainly not, unfortunately. Jack Wells, pole sitter, down in third place, trying to defend his podium from the charging cars in behind. Kyle Ridley right there waiting in the wings. Same with obviously Eric Manenveld, Taylor Adams, this whole train of cars making their way back all the way beyond to Alpha Henriksen, I think, is the final car in this long train. So it's basically from the lead all the way down to 12th place.
It's incredible, isn't it? Not one of these cars separated by more than a second from the other. The biggest gap is actually to JB Masida from Sam Van Olst in second place. You can see it just up the road there, just in the top right of your screen. Also in the top right of your screen, you'll see the championship sponsors. Big shout out to Abruzzi, Derbyshire Holiday Homes and Orris Digital. It's great to have you on board once again, guys, for another season as Jake Cranstone starts to make some progress back through the order. John Bailiff just did the fastest lap of the race, actually, just behind these guys in the Nodaphone car, so he's flying up to the back of this group. There's side-by-side action in the middle there as Taylor Adams and Morgan Burkhardt, two very talented drivers, both right together. Patrick Dopart trying to get his nose in Patrick has been one of those drivers that he's got all the pace to win the championship. We've seen that many a time, but he had a poor race 2, a poor race 4. He's had a 17th and a 10th so far this season. He may have had 2 podium finishes, but he's 7th in the championship and 23 points off of championship leader Jake Cranstone, who just so happens to be the car right next to him now.
Yeah, you need consistency to win championships. I mean, one of these drivers, Taylor Adams, knows that all too well after winning a championship without taking a single race victory. Jake Cranstone as well, his consistency has seen him win many a title as well in his time on iRacing. It's just all about trying to translate that into those good results, and Cranstone's had a great couple of laps, hasn't he? Actually gaining a couple of places now, back up into 8th place. Can now see that his main rival for the championship, I think it's fair to say, Taylor Adams and Morgan Burkhardt right up ahead of him.
Whoa.
That's where the sights are firmly going to be set. Look at them all snaking their way out after going through Sterling's, and now clearways. So tricky, isn't it, to get that corner right, because it sets you up for this long back straight in towards Paddock Hill. It's crucial.
The thing is in these cars as well is that it's very easy for these cars to make it round a corner. It's just how you carry the most momentum off the corner that's the difficult bit. As running wide in front of these guys, Stephen Burns, who's had a horrific race so far. He's just lost his 5th position of this one. He's about to lose his 6th as John Bailiff goes in too hot into the side of Patrick Dopart. They're now 3 wide down the hill. Careful, boys. Donny Alfa Henriksen gets elbowed because they end up 3 wide. And it's going to be Dopart that's going to lose out here. Alfa Henriksen gets elbowed out as well. Back onto the circuit he goes. Ben Bennyworth goes, I don't want to be here. Looks down the inside of Stephen Burns as a result. It was all a little bit too shuffled there, wasn't it, boys? A bit too much, that.
It keeps happening again. Every single time in towards Druids, it's just John Bailiff seems to overstep it on the brakes.
He's confident, you've got to give him that, but maybe a little overconfidence. There's contact on the way in which unsettles the pair of them. And then Dopart has to come on at some point. I don't think Alfa Henriksen knows they're 3 wide. I mean, Dopart comes on quite aggressively again, but then none of them want to give it up. And I mean, it's a miracle they're all facing the same way, as Ferran Grau has just been off the road and lost place again. He's still fighting with Duncan Murray, though. These two, 7 seconds off the cars ahead, as Ferran has... he's decided that's that, I think, unfortunately. He had a DNF earlier on in the season, and that's going to be his 2nd of them. Let's have a look what happened. Duncan side by side with him as they come down the hill. Oh, he's hip checked him a little bit there, and then side by side contact. It's a tough one to call, that, from what we saw from that angle. And then Ferran, I think, decides that that's that, and he's going to be maybe out of the race. Actually, I don't know if he got enough for a drive-through, or whether he even surpassed that straight away. But it's a shame.
Could be him out, unfortunately.
Yeah, Duncan
Murray also into the pits, looking like that was a drive-through as well within 9 minutes of the race. Duncan's been in the wars and he's now got the rest of the race to do, some 20 seconds back from Aaron Smith. Meanwhile, we come to this, the battle up in front for the podium places. Kyle Ridley in 4th, actually looking more likely he's going to have to defend on his 4th place from Morgan Burkhardt, who can see the race leader just... what is that, 3 seconds up the road?
Not even that, a second and a half.
Second and a half. Yeah, forget these Jettas don't necessarily go the quickest. So the gaps are pretty close together as a result. Does mean, though, we say it all the time, don't we, Chaz, that the slower the cars, oftentimes the better the racing.
Oh, 100%.
These Jettas certainly give us an excellent fights.
They really do. It's great fun. There's a reason we've done this championship 4 times now, and it is definitely that. Once again, though, we've got a race where there's a huge train at the front, and then John Bailiff leading another train behind. John is quite the defender, but I tell you, he's having to work overtime here tonight. Patrick Dopart, Stephen Burns, and Donny Alfa Henriksen all queuing in behind. 5 very iconic liveries all together here, which is what we love to see, as Ben Bennyworth in 13th position clings onto the back of it. Taylor Adams and Jake Cranstone are side by side. Jake inevitable in his charge forward down the inside. Both of them have won the Sim Racing Magazine GT4 Challenge in the past 2 seasons. Jake winning season 5, Taylor winning season 6. And now Eric Manintveld wants in on that as well. He was racing in Season 6, actually. It was good to have Eric join the club. As in the background, Stephen Burns and Patrick Dopart are now side by side as well. It's never ending, Ed. Absolutely never ending, but that's why we love the British Touring Car Championship.
Oh, we absolutely adore the British Touring Car Championship, and we'll be sad to see it go, but we often say you want to leave them wanting more, end on a high, and we're certainly getting those very good highs of the Jetta racing here on full display. Jacob Masida looks like he's certainly on track to secure back-to-back feature race victories. Obviously getting his first race of the season in that second race at Silverstone. Looks like it's working out quite well for him at this moment in time. When he gets out into the front, he manages the pace quite well. He's got Van Alsten behind, Jack Wells as well. Morgan Burkhardt, though, you don't want to discount him. He's been so good all season long. You can see him just in 4th place. Could be a matter of when and not if he's out challenging for the lead.
Yeah, we'll keep our eye on Morgan and see if he makes any moves. Just looking at JB's results recently, as Burns and Dopart once again swap places as they head into the final corner. Burns goes through, Dopart says no thank you. Alf Henriksen gets his nose down the inside. I was going to say, JB Masida, he's had a 9th place and then a win and then a 9th place as Van Alst, I think might have gone for the lead there and has ended up shovelled off the road. He's gone deep into Druids now. This is going to help JB back up at the front, but that got a little bit spicy there. What on earth happened here? So Van Alst got right up behind JB. I know he just went deep, actually. Just went deep into there, and then Jack Wells tried to make it through, but it's very spicy near the front end of the order here. Morgan Burkhardt has got Kyle Ridley between himself and Jake Cranstone, so he'll be pleased to have a little bit of a buffer. But how long is that going to last? My point was that JB Masida has had great results in races 2 and 4 this season, so he's had a 4th and a 1st. But in race 1 of each night, he's had a 9th or an 11th place finish. So, yeah, he's got the pace, but he just needs the grid position to basically favour him as Cranstone gets on the brakes there now that Morgan Burkhardt goes past Jack Wells. God, look at these guys really closing in on one another. They're having to be mighty careful, aren't they? Jack Wells he's open about the fact that he's not on the pace of some of these guys, but he's still enjoying himself out there, having some good scraps. He said that in some scenarios he'd prefer that people don't race him as hard, and he'd just like to try and battle as a pack, but I don't think he knows quite what these guys do like this. As Kyle Ridley now loses a place to Jake Cranstone, he goes through. It's almost like Kyle says, you have a go at him, mate.
That was really smart from Cranstone, actually. It was not so much smart on the exit there, but he was very clever just to give himself a little bit of a buffer and then really attack out of Sterling. Could see the two of them getting into trouble with one another and decided, right, I'm going to make the run, get the gap and make the position rather easily. Still yet again, the buffer between Morgan Burkhardt and Jake Cranstone is just the single car. Jack Wells, that car this time. Morgan thinks for a moment he's got a bit more of a buffer. He puts 2 cars between them, and then Jake Cranstone makes the overtake instantly to bring that gap just down to one singular Jetta. James Masida now hard on the power out of Surtees.
Just under 11 minutes to go, and the battles continue on here. Burkhardt looking really menacing up behind Sam Van Alst. This will be important for JB as well, because if he wins this race, it won't only be a race victory overall, but it'll also be his 2nd win of the season in the independence class as well. He'll have taken, well, he's already taken 1 obviously at Silverstone, but he's had a 1st, 2nd, a 3rd and 2 4th places. So it'll be good points for him in the independents. It's going to be really close in the independent championship this season. At the moment, there's only 8 points between the top 4. The other one, Ferran Grau, unfortunately only has 10 points, and Naveed Hussein and Togo Hisada have not joined us yet this season. As in the background, Jake Cranstone gets past Jack Wells now. That buffer is gone.
Yeah, it's, well, now down to nothing. Although, will there be any fight back from Jack Wells? He's close enough to try it against Jake, but I think Jack realises, and like you say, he's admitted that he's not necessarily the fastest driver. Wants to see if he can. And maybe Jake is a bit of a helping hand, as Oh, well, this is close between Morgan Burkhardt and JB Mesita. Sam Van Olst, though, he's dived up the inside of JB and now finds himself in the lead of the race. Brilliant little move that we just missed a touch when we were on board with Morgan Burkhardt, but Sam Van Olst now leads the way for the first time this season. Look at that, diving up the inside. I mean, Burkhardt's not hanging around for anyone, is he?
No, he's absolutely not. You can see the blue number boards on those two cars as well, signifying that they are in the Mediocre Cup for Independence. And that is the battle that they're having right now, despite the fact it's for second place overall. It's for a win in the independent class. Sam Van Olst doesn't really give one. He wants them to just go away, for lack of better words. But JB has the inside line through Hawthorn. I think that Sam is all right here for Westfield. He can carry more pace than these two will do. Look at Jake Cranstone. How many times have we seen Jake be opportunistic in moments like this, Ed? He could very much get ahead of Morgan Burkhardt here and help his championship charge continue on as Mesita gets a wobble on, gets sideways. Jake finds himself down the inside. Lovely stuff, nip and tuck. Burkhardt, though, is going to be let free by this. Jake is sort of damned if he does, damned if he doesn't, really. Burkhardt moves to the inside to give whatever tiny slipstream he can to JB Mesita. They remain side by side, and now Jack Wells is in on this as well. He goes to the inside. They're 3 wide across the line.
Oh dear, they need to be careful. They've just gotten the call. I think Cranston got that call late that they were 3 wide. As now up to the inside goes Burkhardt for the lead of the race. Burkhardt's going to try and take this and get this done as soon as possible to stop the fight back from Cranstone, who's stuck in the middle of all of this now. It's Wells and Mesita ahead of Cranstone. All the while, Sam Van Olst is trying his damnedest to defend around the outside, but he can't work it against Burkhardt. There's contact as they make their way down towards Graham Hill. Somehow they stay pointed in the right direction, and Cranstone, after being in 3rd place, has lost out and is all the way down in 5th, while his main rival is off in the lead of the race.
Incredible, absolutely incredible racing. Eric Mannenveld and Kyle Ridley have just swapped places as well. Kyle may be in 7th place, but he's only 2 seconds off the lead. That's how close it is in the British Boring Car Championship. Van Olst has got the run on Burkhardt. I don't know if Burkhardt got a slowdown penalty or something, or I don't know if he's giving the position back or what. It's either good sportsmanship or he's been forced to do it by Morgan Burkhardt, but Van Olst hanging it around the outside. There's still 7 minutes of this race left to go. Does someone want to try and tell these boys? Burkhardt now to the inside of Westfield, gets it done. Mesita is not out of this race yet, though. He may have lost the lead a lap or so ago, but he's still in this fight for the race victory. Van Olst back down the inside into Sheen Curve. Mesita has to check up and get out of it. Cranstone's on the grass on the inside line now into Sterling's, and look at that from Jack Wells. He wants a piece of the action. Mesita elbowed out wide. This is just mental racing.
Absolutely bonkers. So there's a bit, because that contact at the inside of Jack Wells.
It was, hello.
Mannenveld, well, trying to force his way through. Well, more than once, more than twice, 3 times they banged doors.
Jack.
Oh, let's make it a 4th, why not? Jack getting, well, trying to put the squeeze onto Mannenveld.
Oh, Jack.
Oh, dearie me, this is...
Can't just drive into him, Jack. I know your car's a mirror, but come on. Oh, it was a little bit overboard, that, from Jack Wells. I mean, you may feel that Mannenveld pushed him out of the way slightly, and he may feel the same against Kyle Ridley now, but retaliation is the worst form of defence, to be honest. As more and more of it as they head down towards Graham Hill. Look at Taylor Adams. Where's he come from? Taylor Adams now suddenly finds himself in all of this, thinking, goodness me, what are you lot doing? John Bailiff is still somehow at the front of this train in the background as well. This is the rest of the field, by the way. It's just unbelievable. Duncan Murray is 24 seconds down on all of this, but we've got the majority of the field separated by just 8 seconds after 20 minutes, give or take, of racing. And we have Morgan Burkhardt back at the front, started 10th on the grid. What a great drive this is, even though he's off the circuit right now. Sam Van Olst behind him. JB Mesita 2nd in the Independents, 3rd overall, on for his 2nd podium of the season. But this is British Boring Cars. You don't know until you know.
Yeah, exactly. We've got 5 minutes remaining. A lot can happen in that length of time. For all that we said that Burkhardt was going to try and disappear off into the sunset, well, he's still got 0.2 of a second between himself and Sam Van Olst, so it's not been plain sailing for Burkhardt since he's gotten into the lead of the race. Running on board with Taylor Adams. Look at the amount of lock that he puts on just going through the final corner, which isn't really that severe of an angle. It's just trying to get the rotation on more than anything else. And Just a touch to the inside, trying to get the car turned in nicely onto the apex, but the bumps just unsettle this car. While it can ride the curbs, it kills a lot of the momentum, and that's, I think, what really separates a lot of the drivers is how they can carry that momentum. As that's yet more side-on contact with Jack Wells. That time I don't really think he was necessarily the guilty party there. It was more, well, Ridley being a bit quick through Druids.
There's
there's
me.
the tail, and he's been, well, I think unceremoniously binned off there by the contact in behind. Unsettled the rear end, and then...
I don't know whether Jack got given a drive-through by that, and then he's thrown it into the wall himself.
It could have been, actually, yeah, I'm not sure.
I don't know on that one. Let's see, because he's had a hit there. He's still flat out here. That's a big hit, and he's... Yeah, and that's not the car breaking away. That's unfortunately Jack throwing a strop, I'm afraid. Doesn't come across fantastically. A few tempers flaring here tonight, but it's going to happen on a circuit like this as well. I already know Farron Grau is a bit unhappy about how his evening has turned out. John Bailiff might be unhappy about the fact that he's got to pay John Palmer a load of money for the grass. As around the outside goes Stephen Burns. Lovely move that is. Donny Alfa Henriksen's got nowhere to go now, especially as Patrick Dopart. What is Patrick Dopart doing in 10th position? He should be so much higher up the order than that, as he usually used to be, and he's actually slithered down the inside of Bailiff there. I tell you what, Burns has benefited from all that. Look at him, he's gone. It's like he's in a different race now up the road. We've still got 3 minutes to go here, and I already can't breathe.
Yeah, that's a lot's been going on. A lot will probably continue to go on for the remaining 2 minutes and 40 seconds. Cranstow now finds himself in a podium place, but provisionally is, well, diving back up the inside is JB Masida. He wants to try and defend this for all he's worth, but look at Cranstow carrying that momentum all the way around the outside. He's going to be ahead in towards Surtees and should be able to secure that position, which he does. And now, for all of that, could have the same top two that we had in race one. Burkhardt, Van Alst, but Cranstow, the driver who was second place in that first race, not far back at all from potentially another second place. However, will, I think, only have one lap to do it in. It's around about 1 minute 40 something for a lap around here, and well, they should be getting the white flag next time by the start-finish straight.
Yeah, they will do. This will be the final lap coming up then here at Brands Hatch in the British Boring Car Championship in its 4th season. It's been mighty busy already here tonight. Lovely sunset conditions here for rounds 5 and 6. We're quite lucky that the drivers have a week off after this one. They can chill out and then come back for the next round. We've got a trio of race meetings coming up once we're back from the week off. We start that with Snetterton 300. It's nice and flat there. They can't bump into each other, hopefully. And then we're going to be having a vote between the drivers whether we go to Knockhill or Thruxton for the next one. I'm pretty sure that Thruxton's already got that one, to be honest with you. And then we go to Alton Park to the Island Circuit for rounds 11 and 12. We have a week off, then we're back here at Brands Hatch on the Indy Circuit. That'll be a riot. Then Donington Park again for the Grand Prix Circuit. And Silverstone again for the 2008 international layout that we were on just last week. But it is a circuit that was raced a lot by the British Touring Car Championship in the late 90s, and we do the same thing again and again by visiting that as they did. Donny Alfa Henriksen, Ben Bennyworth side by side, Patrick Dopart trying it on John Bailiff here. The battles are just constant, all the way up and down the order, all race. There are drivers battling with each other, but that's the fun of these cars. You can just always fight. Jake Cranstow trying it on Sam Van Alst here. Sam's already had a podium this season, but he's had a 3rd place. He will definitely want a 2nd, and that would be his best result if he gets it. Cranstow, well, ends up sort of elbowing himself off the circuit there. Cranstow hasn't finished 3rd this season, so I think for a collector's aspect, he needs to get that position.
Yeah, tell you what, this has been a heck of a race. It's maybe not had the same consistent battling that we saw in race 1, but race 2 certainly is not disappointed, and it's got, well, the same outcome for the victor, as just rounding through the final corner now as Jake Cranstow is going to have a little look, isn't he, trying to get up into 2nd place, but he won't be able to make it. Morgan Burkhardt, for the 2nd time tonight, wins here at Brands Hatch, and again, what an amazing drive to get through all of that traffic in 25 minutes.
Brilliant stuff. Burkhardt, 2 wins out of 2. The first driver to do that in a very, very long time. JB Mesida ends up 3rd in the independents behind Eric Mannenfeld. Kyle Ridley beats Taylor Adams to the line. And what about this lot? It was John Bailiff, Patrick Dopart, Donny Alpha Henriksen, Ben Bennyworth, Aaron Smith and Duncan Murray in the end. And now we get to see, this bit. There's going to be 1 or 2 cars that, yep, here it comes. This is just what these guys do. It's part of the fun. It is part of the fun here in the British Touring Car Championship. Wow. Goodness me. Well,
Beautiful.
It is beautiful. Absolutely. A very busy night. Duncan Murray there just crossing the line to complete the field. And let the Discord discussions begin. Flipping heck, that was a busy race.
Yeah, what was it you said last time we came here? Some drivers were upset, a few friendships got broken. Wonder if that's going to be the same here tonight.
I think it might be all right in comparison. We'll see. Morgan Burkhardt, though, takes his 2nd race victory of the night, his 3rd of the season. Every race he's been in so far this season, he's been 1st or 2nd. How impressive is that? Sam Van Olst gets his personal best of the season as well, and some good points for Nodaphone. Then Jake Cranstone gets 3rd place. That means he's had all podium finishes possible, basically, throughout this season. Eric Mannenfeld behind him, ahead of JB Mesida, who has another pretty decent night, to be fair, with a 5th place. Kyle Ridley finishes in 6th. He's had an 8th and a 6th tonight. Taylor Adams was 7th, ahead of Stephen Burns. John Bailiff, who had his worst result of the season in 13th, has his 2nd worst result of the season in 9th. Patrick Dopart completes the top 10, and a very difficult night for him, a 7th and a 10th. Donny Alpha Henriksen was 11th in the end, ahead of Ben Bennyworth, with Aaron Smith next up. Duncan Murray was 3/4 of a minute down. Jack Wells and Ferren Grau were unfortunately out of the race. Well, I don't really know where to start, to be honest, Ed. I'm amazed that we have a little piece of equipment in our timing software that shows us basically what's happened in the race, the individual events, so to speak, and it is incredibly empty compared to what I would have expected, but it wasn't incidents where drivers ended up off the track or anything, was it? It was incidents where drivers just had a tiny little tap here and there and managed to survive it.
It was vintage touring car racing in the form that we got drivers being upset with each other, we got drivers making contact with one another, we had some great battles. Obviously, Brands Hatch has given us many a great race, both in real life, in the touring car circuit, and also here in the sim, in the boring cars with these Jettas. And I'm pretty happy with the way the evening goes, and I definitely think we've got one driver waiting in the wings who's going to be very happy with the way his evening has gone.
Yeah, absolutely. We will drag in and speak to Morgan Burkhardt, who takes 2 wins out of 2 tonight. Morgan, I was just taking a quick look at the statistics to try and see when that was last done, and it was actually at the start of Season 3 by none other than Jake Cranstone, and that was maybe 2 years ago now, so you're the first driver to do it in a while. Did you expect to do it tonight, first off?
No, definitely not. This track is, I always describe this as Britain's bull ring. You know, in the US, we've got Lime Rock, which is fairly similar in a bunch of high-load corners, not a whole lot of straightaways where you can get a run on somebody. So wasn't really expecting to be able to come back, and especially in race 2. Race 1 was so much fun, just going hammer and tong with Jake, but race 2 wasn't really expecting to be able to come through the field, but had a blast doing it.
I was going to say, I mean, you know, there was 1 or 2 drivers that ended up either completely off the circuit or with a drive-through. I think we only had 2 drive-throughs all night, in fairness. But what an amazing group of people to race with, though, because you all seem to be able to go door-to-door so much. Is that down to just the people, or is the car quite a contributing factor as well?
I would say it's 100% the people. It is so hard to race in this car. It's bucket loads of understeer on the entry, so you have to be really careful. Bucket loads of understeer in the middle. Sometimes you'll bounce and hit a curb and then careen into the side of the guy but next to you. So it's a lot of trust, and we've been doing this for so long that especially with Jake, there's very few people that I would trust in the real world or even in the sim to go door to door like that through, you know, half of the fastest section on the track. So I think it really does come down to the people, and just gotta quickly say sorry to Eric. I did have a bounced off the curb at the apex. I don't remember which corner it is, but I think I got him into the gravel and he lost a couple spots, so I was happy to see him finish in the 4th spot. But yeah, definitely the people. This is such a good bunch to race with.
And looking at the championship standings as well, I mean, at the moment, off basic calculations, you're just 4 points behind Jake now after 3 meetings, despite missing a meeting yourself. That must be pretty confidence building, to say the least, and knowing that you're going to have such a close fight with him all season.
Yeah, no, for sure. I think this is going to be an interesting one for me, because I keep looking at the schedule, and then every time I look at it, I realize there's another race I can't do. So I think it's going to put a lot of pressure on me as a driver. My drop rounds are going to be used up by races that I'm just not at. So can't have a bad one, really. I already have to start thinking big picture about, I need the points, but I can't take too many risks doing it. So it'll be difficult, but Jake's going to be hard to beat.
He always is, bless him. And he's so nice about it as well. It's so annoying because you want to hate him for it, but he's so lovely. Is there anyone you'd like to give a quick shout out to before we let you go, Morgan?
100%. I'd like to shout out Kyle's mom. Big shout out to her.
Lovely stuff. Well, it's great to see you back, mate. Thanks once again for joining us tonight. Congrats on the 2 wins, and we'll see you next time round.
All right, then. Thank you, guys.
Morgan Burkhardt, complete professional, wonderful guy. Real world racer that takes a lot of his time out of his schedule to come and race with us here. And what a great performance tonight, Ed. You can't really knock that, can you?
No, you can't. He's certainly showing that he's the driver to beat, even if he is not necessarily where he is in the championship, basically on account of him missing Silverstone. He's certainly still, I think, the favoured driver for the title with, well, in the 4 races he's participated in, he's won 3 of them. So that's not a bad rate of return, is it, Jazz?
No, absolutely not. I think if I could have 1 win in a season that I competed in, I'd be pretty happy, to be honest with you. So it's interesting to see just how that fight's going to go for the rest of the season. Unfortunately, though, there are no other drivers wanting interviews from us tonight. It seems like they're quite a shy bunch, considering how close they always get to each other. But one more quick thanks to our championship sponsors, Abruzzi, Derbyshire Holiday Homes and Orris Digital. Thanks once again to Ed May, my co-commentator. And thank you all for watching. It's been another very busy night in the British Boring Car Championship. We hope you've enjoyed it, and we'll see you again next time round. We've got a week off, don't forget, though, so it'll be in 2 weeks. Have a good one. See you then.
Has done enough to win the last round of the championship and to win the title all in one fell swoop.
It's the British Boring Car Championship. Things are never chilled here. Honestly, the cars may be a bit dull, but wow, the racing certainly isn't.
Fastest lap of the race now, Ben Lambert.
Look at Andy Potts coming through the middle. He makes a little bit of contact. Dave Waldock is around and he's off on the grass.
Rayfield tries to go right round the outside of Druids. You do not do that and get away with it very often.
Takes the win in round 12. There's contact again. Fraser Smith and Dennis Melchett are off the circuit.